All right. Hey, YouTube, I'm Lucky, and the Adept Mindbenders Ambition arrives in Destiny 2 for the first time ever in less than 24 hours. We have never had the Adept version of the shotgun. This was an iconic shotgun back in the day. Everyone was grinding the Hollow Layer Strike. You used to be able to farm the boss over and over again. You could kill the boss, and then everyone on the fire team could shoot themselves with rockets. It would farm the shotgun for hours and hours and hours to get that god roll. Well, let me know down in the comments exactly what your god roll was back then. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the current god rolls of this weapon for both PvP and PvE. And the title of this video is If I Was a Bungie Dev, This Is How I Would Have Handled Mindbenders, because there are some questionable perk options. There's a questionable perk pool for the Mindbender's Ambition. It was previously an iconic shotgun, and I feel like when Bungie reprises certain weapons, when a weapon has a it's notoriously known for being so good in PvP, they should try to hold true to that, I think. Let me know if you agree with that in the comments below. We're going to go over the god rolls and the good, the bad, and the ugly with the Mindbender's Ambition Adept, okay? So first off, the good. There are some decent rolls for this weapon inside PvP and PvE. It's not the best. It's not going to be meta-defining or meta-changing weapon in any way, but the bad is that you have to beat the Lightblade Grandmaster. That is one of the tougher ones. And I don't believe there's going to be double drops because this last week there's double drops. Bungie could surprise us. Hopefully they do. Please, Bungie, at least give us double drops. I mean, we have to suffer through the light blade to get a mid shotgun. That's painful. At least give us double drops. So that way we can get some good rolls of this bad boy, all right? The PvP god roll I have here, we've got Fragile Focus, which does give a 20% increase to range until you take damage. This actually works really well for shotguns. Is it as potent as Opening Shot? No. And we will be talking about the Mindbender's Ambition counterpart. It's Boogeyman, which is the found verdict in just a moment here. We've got Fragile Focus, probably the best perk in slot in terms of the PvP god roll. We'll go over the PvE one in a minute. Threat Detector is going to be the best perk in slot. I know Slideways sounds really good, but Slideways is not really good as Slide Shot, unfortunately. So we're going to go with Threat Detector. Then we're going to go with Accurized Rounds. Probably Barrel Shroud, Handling Masterwork, and Adept Handling on it just to get as much handling on this thing as possible. We can get up to 61 handling. You could also throw on Icarus if you want to jump up in the air still, but this is going to be the general god roll for this weapon if you do go through and suffer a Grandmaster of the Lightblade Strike. All right, and then we'll go over the PvE roll. We've got a 1-2 punch roll shotgun, which, to be fair, almost all the 1-2 punch shotguns are relatively the same. You just use one. You're not using it for the actual shotgun's potency inside PvE. You're using it because it buffs your melee damage. You can pair this with a whole variety of other melee builds that go along with this. I personally like the Liar's Handshake Hunter build. Let me know which build you pair with your 1-2 punch shotguns if you are using a 1-2 punch shotgun build from time to time, which you should because they're actually a lot of fun. So it does have a 1-2 punch roll. Does it really matter what you pair with that afterwards? Not really, but I guess you could go lead from gold, and really the magazine and barrel aren't as nearly significant inside PvE. So those are going to be your PvP and your PvE god rolls of these weapons. Now we got to go over the Boogeyman for this weapon, which is the Found Verdict, which basically is the aggressive frame, like it is the 55, but it outclasses it in a whole variety of ways. First off, the Found Verdict, obviously you go do the Vault of Glass, beat Atheon on Master, turn in your spoils. You can farm this thing probably a lot easier, I would say. Opening Shot, which definitely outclasses Fragile Focus. And then we have Surplus, which I will say this, a little nod to Mindbenders, that I think Threat Detector is a better perk than Surplus because a lot of times you're going to end up using all of your abilities. But the reason why we have Surplus for the Found Verdict is because of that handling. And I think that Threat Detector does outclass it a little bit. Let me know if you agree or disagree. We're going to go Accurized Rounds, we're going to go Barrel Shroud, Handling, and then we'll do the same thing with Handling Masterwork. We end up with 69 handling on this, not including the boost from Surplus, of course. We got 44 range base. And those are really the two biggest stats. And on the Mindbender's Ambition for PvP, we've got 61 handling and 42 for range. So unfortunately, the Found Verdict outclasses the Mindbender's Ambition, right? And then the other thing that we do need to mention, just to make matters even worse, is that you can actually craft a shotgun very, very comparable to the Mindbender's god roll right here, okay? The Mindbender's god roll is Threat Detector, Fragile Focus, a solar shotgun, right? We have the Without Remorse, which you can craft very easily. You can acquire this weapon, and you can get enhanced Fragile Focus, enhanced Threat Detector, and you can pick whatever magazine and barrel you want. But basically, it's a solar, but the difference is that it is a different archetype. It is the 80 RPM of shotgun. So the Mindbenders will be a little more potent in its one-hit kill potential. So there may be some reason for you to farm for that and for that alone. Now, let's get on to if I were a Bungie dev, how I would have handled this perk pool right here, okay? First off, considering that Found Verdict is not sunset, and we're not going to be sunsetting any more weapons, Bungie, right? If I was sitting at the Bungie roundtable, I'd be like, all right, Mindbenders is an iconic PvP shotgun. We must make sure that it can at least compete with the other aggressive frames, okay? And we got to follow true to the other rules that we've created, okay? And those rules are we're not giving quick draw to aggressive frame shotguns anymore. They completely remove them from all aggressive frame shotguns. It's not an option. The old Mindbenders, I know that breaks some people's heart because the old Mindbenders had quick draw in this slot and snapshot in this slot, and you're not going to get that anymore, right? So what I would do is I would say for PvP, we got to throw opening shot in this column right here, okay? And that alone is just like, we're Gucci. Literally just ship it like that. That would be a very slight improvement above the Found Verdict, and I think that would be enough. But we can go even further, okay? If we really wanted to make the Destiny community just absolutely foam at the mouth and be like, wow, I need the Mindbender's ambition. I need that power that I once had. I think we would go opening shot in this column here. And then in this column here, we would probably put in elemental capacitor and perpetual motion. That would be amazing. Elemental capacitor, perpetual motion are going to give this thing insane handling if you're using an ARC class, which a lot of you are using ARC because it's ARC 3.0 season, right? And so give this elemental capacitor here. Everyone's going to be using ARC anyways. It's going to be awesome. It's going to feel amazing. We'll have Ellie Cap in this column, opening shot here. People are going to love this shotgun. People are going to go crazy. People are going to be grinding the Lightblade Grandmaster, which is one of the toughest ones. They're going to be grinding until their eyes bleed if this had Ellie Cap and opening shot. Would that completely break the game? No, it's not going to completely break the game. Would that be the best shotgun in the game? Probably. And it should be, because this is the most challenging activity, right, Bungie? I mean, the Grandmaster Lightblade, I mean, that shit is tough. Let me know if you agree or disagree, if that's what the role you think that Mindbender's ambition should have. If I were a Bungie dev, that's what I would do. That's the whole reason why I titled this video. And then we'll go over to the Mindbender's ambition for the PvE God roll. Now, like I mentioned before, 1-2 punch is a perk that you pretty much only use for the melee damage. And so really all the other stuff that goes along with it doesn't matter that much. I'm not sure if Bungie likes that or has chosen to do that. I think they don't mind it. I don't think they're going to nerf 1-2 punch anytime soon. If they do, I would cry, honestly, because the melee builds that you can make with this are so much fun. Okay, use the Liar's Handshake with the 1-2 punch. Let me know what you think. It would be really cool if instead in this column right here there was a perk like Swashbuckler. Okay, Swashbuckler would be kind of sick for it. Would this be game changing or game breaking? No, not in any way. If Swashbuckler was in this column right here, then you would shotgun melee an enemy with that super powerful melee, and that would give you Swashbuckler stacks times 5 for getting that melee kill. And then the next shotgun hit you did would just be like really, really strong potentially. Could create some cool synergy, some cool builds. I don't know. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I feel like that would be an incrementally better version of the Mindbender's ambition for a PvE god roll. Then you'd be out there chasing that Lightblade. You would be people would be losing their minds. Reddit would be lit on fire. Right? People would be grinding for the PvE god roll and the PvP god roll. It would be a really exciting time, but instead we have two a little bit above average rolls of the Mindbender's ambition. Nothing meta changing, nothing game changing, and it's unfortunate. Let me know your thoughts if you agree or disagree with this. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. Smash the like button. I'll see you in the next one. Later.